Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shiur should be the Ilu Nishmas of dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gavriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and B'schos L'Fuah Shalema B'karav Meshalem ben Sar Rachel, Miriam Basara, and Yair Yeshia ben Chaya Atar. Today, we are on page 276 in the Orah Vigdor, for those who are following along. And we are going to finish off a chapter over here. Yesterday, we talked about bitachon when it comes to doing favors or for asking for favors, how to go about it when you are the one who's requesting, and how to go about it when you're the one being requested of. Rabbi Victor Miller adds one last point over here on that note, and he says, we learned from this that people are shliach, right? They're the conduit, that Hashem uses them in order to give you what you need. And he throws in over here the idea that bitachon, when you're a shadchan, when you're a matchmaker, and when you do a shidduch, and you put a boy and a girl together, and they get married, and sometimes it's very, very easy for you to feel really good about yourself to the point where you feel like you're the one who made it happen. Like you thought of it, without you it wouldn't have happened. Just a little reminder. That shidduch would have happened anyway, if that's what Hashem wanted to happen. So what he says over here with that, what you should be careful from. So you understand that, right? You're a person, you're Baal Bitachon, you understand without you, this shidduch would have happened as well. Hashem chose you to make that happen. You were worthy of it. But how do you go about that? Is when you are at the simcha, right? The engagement party, and people might come over to you and say mild stuff and stuff like that. Don't make it a point to point out that, oh, I was the shadchan. Oh, yeah, I thought of it. It's such a great idea. Yes, I thought. No, don't call them out on it. If they say, oh, I heard you were the shadchan, you can say, sure, no problem. Absolutely. You could take the credit. You could say, oh, it was from Hashem, I was a shliach, whatever it is. But don't make it a point to walk around and feel good about yourself and say that you were the one who made it happen and tell people, who was a shadchan, I was a shadchan. He just says to be careful from that. We know you're a Baal Bitachon. There's certain rules when it comes about doing it, and I want you to understand it when it comes to doing a shidduch as well. Now, the final piece to this chapter is bitachon when it comes to dealing with enemies. So, again, going back to the overall concept that there is a shaliach, there is a messenger involved in every single task in this world. Hashem runs this world, and He knows exactly what He wants out of it and what the outcome should be. Now, how Hashem does that, going back to the basics, is cause and effect system, right? Now, the cause and effect system dictates that sometimes there needs to be some bad things are going to happen. Maybe it's because you deserve it, because you were punished, you being punished for yourself, going back to a few chapters ago, maybe you taking on the sins for other people, whatever it is. But the fact is, there's going to be someone out there that's going to hurt you one day. Maybe they might physically hit you, or they might say something hurtful, or they might do something else. But at the end of the day, someone is going to do that, and you consider them your enemy. But the point in this, over here, what he's going to make in the subject is that just like you know that if you go around asking someone for their assistance, you know that it's Hashem that's giving it to you, right? This person is a shaliach. Same thing happens with this person who does something bad to you, right? He smacks you across the face. He steals from you. He says something hurtful. All those things are outcomes that Hashem would have given to you anyway. Hashem just chose person A. But the fact is, those things are coming your way whether you like it or not. So we're going to get into how we carry ourselves as a Baal Bitachon. How do we respond to something like this that's hurtful to another person? And that's the concept over here I want you to remember, is that every single outcome is from Hashem and Hashem only. And again, it's also with love from Hashem. Even if it's a smack across the face, it's not a smack because, oh, you did something wrong, I'm going to punish you. No, it's Hashem's way of showing you love. Sometimes it's tough love, but it's a way Hashem's coaxing you into a direction to do the right thing. So let's get into that. As for matters relating to a man's enemies, and to those that envy him, might be jealous of him, or those who seek to harm him, Yiftach bin Yonehem al Habar Yisala. He should have trust in Hashem to deal with them. That Hashem is going to protect you. Hashem is going to deal with these people individually. V'yisbol cherpasam, and tolerate their insults. Meaning, when someone comes to you and says something negative to you, it might hurt, tolerate it. Don't do nakama. Don't go back at them. Don't try to yell back. Don't try to, oh yeah? Really? Me? How about you? Don't do that. V'al yigma lehem kifala. And he should not pay them back according to their actions. We know that's nakama. We don't do that. Yigmalim chesed. But he should repay them. Not only shouldn't ignore them, he should repay them with kindness. V'yasa lehem kol ma sheyochel asayis min hatov. He should do whatever good he can do for them. Over here, he's trying to make a point that when someone does come to you, and it's a very difficult task, it's a little bit separate from Bitachon as itself. It's a whole separate midah. It's a whole different, characteristic trait. But if someone comes and tries to hurt you physically or emotionally with words, or maybe he's spreading rumors about you, whatever that might be, what he's pointing out, what Rav Av is pointing out over here, is not only you should just be quiet and just, obviously if you're going to trust Hashem, Hashem's going to take care of it, but you might want to go and do something nice for that individual. And he says that the reason for this is that maybe sometimes by showing someone that other side, that they might change. They might say, why am I doing this? Why am I trying to be hurtful? This person is doing only but good things to me. Maybe what I'm doing is wrong. And so the idea of it is kind of to change the mentality and the mindset of the so-called evil person, the person who's trying to hurt you, and try to coax them into doing the right thing as well. But going back to the basics over here, remember that when this person does hurt you, or he tries to hurt you, that's not something that is going to change. You're going to be hurt. That outcome is going to happen because you deserve it. If it happened, obviously you deserve it. Now, did it happen through person A, through person B, through person C? That's Hashem uses as the cause and effect system. But at the end of the day, for whatever reason, you are needing to get this smack, this punishment at this time. While this happens, you should keep in mind that your own well-being or your harm are only in the hands of Hashem and Hashem only. And he says over here that a person cannot harm you unless Hashem wants that to happen, and a person cannot do good for you unless Hashem wants that to happen. We learned that before, that when we talked about hanging out with the rich people, the idea is that people think they're going to get money from these people, they're going to get cover, whatever it is, all those different things. But at the end of the day, we spoke about over there that if Hashem doesn't ordain for you, doesn't decree for you that you should have X amount of money, even though you're trying to get it, you're not going to get it. And the same thing goes over here. When someone's trying to hurt you, if you don't deserve to be hurt, there's nothing that person can do in this world that you will get hurt. It's just not going to happen. Now, unfortunately, many of us have different small little affairs that we've done over a lifetime that we need to get a little punishment for them. And sometimes that hurtful thing that the person's saying is a temporary thing. Maybe it is something small. Maybe it's going to hurt. And that's something you deserve, and he talks about over here. And if it turns out that the person was the cause of harming you, that for that harm coming to you, he should think well of him and say that it was coming to him anyhow. Basically saying, like, I understand you're the shaliach. The same thing when it came to tzedakah or chesed. We understood that the person helping you was the shaliach, and you would have gotten your help anyway. The same thing when it comes to being punished. If someone gives you a punishment, if someone hurts you, that hurtful thing was coming to you regardless whether you like it or not. It's just a choice of where it's coming from. He should suspect himself and his deeds of having been previously bad in the eyes of Hashem. Basically saying that if something like this does happen, instead of you getting mad at this person and yelling back and all that fun stuff, first of all, remember this person's just a shaliach. So don't try to go back at him. Second of all, think to yourself, hey, I did something wrong to deserve this. What is that I did wrong? And he says, if you daven to Hashem, do better. Whatever it is, do something that you should try to understand, and so that you don't get this done to you again, because obviously you deserved it. And therefore he should daven to Hashem, and ask Hashem to forgive him of his sins. And then, if he does so, his enemies will turn back from their hatred and begin to have love for you. Shlomo Melech said, when Hashem is pleased with a man's ways, even his enemies will make peace with him. And he says over here further also in Shemais, in Chumash Shemais, over there we talk about that it says if you see the donkey of your enemy lying on the floor, you should help pick up that donkey. Why? Why? Even though it's your enemy? Because Hashem says even you should still do good for your enemies. It doesn't make a difference. That person is out there to do bad for you. They will never be able to harm you if you don't deserve it. If you deserve it, it might come to you. It might not even come to this person who wants to do it. They might want from today to tomorrow, but it might come to someone else. But it might happen anyway if you deserve it. But going back, if you don't deserve it, just be confident in that. And that's the whole idea of when you do tshuva and when you're a good person, and you know you can walk around easily knowing that you did nothing wrong. And therefore, no one's going to be able to hurt him if it's not deserved of you. If you do get hurt, just know that you deserved it, and that's what Hashem wanted. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today. And as always, I love you all.